Welcome back to the Nicaraguan podcast. We have had a long layoff, but we are still around. We are still contemplating what kind of episodes and finding the time where we could record. This recording actually is one of a test trial of new software that we have recently purchased, so we could continue to provide quality audio and recordings. And like I said, we are still improving. I am one half of the Nicaraguan podcast. Winston would, the Casey Stork would have joined me, but like I said, this was an impromptu and we just tried it out. But it actually went a little bit further. The recording went a little bit further than anticipated, and it was it was between me, myself, and my two brothers, my two younger brothers. It was just a conversation, and it was something that we all knew we wanted to record and want to lay it down. And I, quite frankly, did not feel comfortable just throwing it away and just at least putting it out there to let the people know that we are still around. Stay tuned to the next episode where it'll be myself and the KC Stork. Hopefully we have one or two few guests on, and we can kind of recap of where we've been at the last couple months and where we're at now, and maybe whatever, give you our takes of what what's going on in our present history right now. That being said, it's one of the recordings with our new software. It is myself, 30 Pieces of Silver, with my brother Mike and my brother Brian, and it was good. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I thought it was a good recording, a good conversation, real, honest, open conversation, and see how it goes. Thank you. Enjoy.
Up and
Bro,
and
be
did
careful, Frank. Be careful if NFL teams now, players, as a unity, they all take a fucking knee and challenge these owners now, dog, to fucking to sit us off. You know what I mean? Be careful, dog.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones did a turn, dog. Did a complete 360 with that bullshit now.
Who?
Talking about if you take a knee, you'll be kicked. You'll be forced to sit.
Yeah.
Be careful if teams make a strong move and make NFL players. They all take a knee. You challenge the integrity of these owners now.
Yeah. See. Yeah, and like that was the thing. That was the issue about it. It's like, they wanted to do it beforehand. They thought it was just gonna be a one-off thing, but the reality is like, dog, like you guys make it about the anthem, the flag and all, but it's not about that. It's about what the flag and the anthem represent, dog. It's not just about the military. It's about the country, dog. Like, how can we over here say that we know that there's injustices going on, and then all of a sudden we're just gonna turn a blind eye when the flag comes on, bro? The part of the flag represents, yes, military, but at the same time, it represents the people of this country, dog. The people, not the white folks or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's not about that shit no more, dog. And that's what I like about about Eminem, dog. Like, he said it out point blank, dog. He brought that shit back from Kaepernick. He brought that back to Kaepernick, to the original thing, dog. And he put on it, dog. Like, to his fans, dog. He was like, hey, if you're my fan and you support and you voted and support Trump, it's very simple. I'm gonna make it very simple for you. Fuck you and fuck Donald Trump, dog. I don't need you, bro. It's not. It's like I've always been telling you, dog. It's not about, dog. I feel I go to sleep to bed comfortable because I know that in the annals of history, I'm on the right side. I feel that Colin Kaepernick is on the right side of this argument, though. Anybody else that's opposite of that, for me, it just wrong.
That's not what Eminem is saying, dog. He's saying that you, as a president, are distracting American citizens on social issues like this, while you have bigger problems.
Dog. Yeah.
Little shit like this, when there's bigger problems for you to be focusing on. You're targeting shit like this. It's bigger than a knee, and he's trying to say that, but just like you're saying, man, but there's bigger shit that you need to be worried about. But you're laser focused on shit like this when you should be focusing on Puerto Rico crisis, and you should be focusing on bigger social issues.
Yeah, dog. And the whole thing.
He's calling him out on that shit.
Yeah.
Like, why are you tweeting about needs and players should be kicked out when you got bigger shit that you need to be worrying about, dog? That's what he's basically saying, and I agree, dog. I mean, I ultimately agree on that shit, dog.
He basically. What's that?
Hey man, hey, fuck both of y'all. Fuck all y'all.
What'd you say, Mike?
That nigga. Well, man, I told my man, look,
hey,
I'm
Mike,
not gonna say I'm conflicted
shut the fuck
with
up.
this Trump shit, but man, I feel bad for that motherfucker, dog.
Feel bad for who, bro?
Hey,
For Trump, dog.
Why?
I feel bad for
Why do you feel? Why do you feel bad for him? That's interesting.
Because, look, originally the man has a good message.
hey,
The
Mike,
way he's portraying that message and the way he's delivering the message and carrying his message out is terrible, dog.
Mike, by the way, I've been recording you for 4 minutes now, so this is gonna go up on a podcast, nigga.
I'm glad, dog. Hey, look.
You're taking
No. I'm just giving you the disclosure, nigga. The disclosure notice. That I'm not attacking you. I'm just letting you know that you are.
That Trump has, it's good, but the way he's carrying it is completely pitiful, childish, stupidity, and that's the problem. And really, what the fucking guy is doing is not not being a president. He's being a man, being defensive, dog. He's being a man that's being attacked at all times, dog. And he feels the need to defend himself at all times, dog. But he needs to realize that, hey, man, it's not about you no more, dog. It's about people, man. You representing the people, and stop making it about yourself. At one point, he could do that shit, dog. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
he could have done some business, man. Say, fuck you. But unfortunately, you can't do that no more.
Right, but no, it doesn't. But I'm telling you, that's where your initial thing is flawed at. When you said that he has good intentions, no, it doesn't. Because if you're self-centered, hold on. If you're self-centered from the beginning, if it's all about you, and he's sick, let's call a spade, bro. Me and you we're still young enough that we can still, our minds are not developed yet to where we want to be. But by the time how his whole life how it's been spent and how it's progressed, all of a sudden we at 70-something years old, we're gonna expect this man's mind to change when he's not seeing. You understand that his perception of life has been tainted by his wealth, dog. And and that's not on him, dog. That's just the cards that he got dealt. But when you get into when you go into a public office, and I'm not gonna elect somebody in the hopes of them to see the light. That's wrong, dog. Because until it happens, he's self-centered and he's about himself, dog. And from day one to now, that's those are facts, dog. Those are the things that we're still here waiting to change. We're still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of that shit, he's bringing it upon himself, dog. All that shit, that shit about Jamel Hill, about tweeting about Jamel Hill, about tweeting about Rocket Man, about tweeting about Puerto Rico, and all that shit, dog. Like, nigga, first of all, Jamel Hill is a public figure that works for a company that's ran by ABC. Then Rocket Man is fucking, he's insane, and you're trying to fucking trigger World War III. And then with Puerto Rico, dog, that it's a Caribbean island, but at the same time, dog, those are U.S. Americans, dog, U.S. citizens, dog. So I mean, look, you're my brother and all, but at the same time, if you're waiting, if you feel like that his message, it's the right one, it's just not being it's just not being presented in the best manner. If you're waiting for that best manner, the best way to be presented, dog, I'm sorry, dog. You on the back end of this shit, dog. But go ahead.
You're a fucking idiot because you're only gonna choose a side only that benefits you, what you see. Everybody has a view here, but here's the problem, dog. This is the fucking problem. You're depicting one man that is completely fucked up, which I'm not against that. I'm not arguing against that. But you're only seeing what's really causing to happen is this mask that the American people have. It's bullshit. And all he's doing is showing the bullshit and the stupidity and the ignorance of every American citizen, our colleagues, our American people, your neighbors, or how stupid and how fucking racist and how close-minded these people are. That's all he's doing. It's showing out all these idiots in this nation. We have a bunch of idiots in this nation that refuse, number one, to stand up. Because you could say what you want to say about Trump and saying all these stupid tweets and causing all these. I'm not against that. I agree with you. But for a CEO, for a president of Sports Center to suspend Jamel Hill, why are we not targeting him? Why are we not talking about that motherfucker to take a stand? You had the opportunity and the ability to stand behind your employees and say, we're going to protect the right for freedom of speech. She said she had to stand while we may agree or disagree. We're going to back her up. But no, they fold under the pressure of a fucking president. And just like right now, Jerry Jones had an option too to step on and to defend their players and back up their players and say, listen, I don't agree with what you guys are doing, but we as a company, we're going to back you up. That's bullshit. Now they're threatening these players that if you take a knee, you're will sit down. Now Roger Goodell is coming out sending letters and saying, hey, if these guys take a knee, I want it to be, they want some repercussion. So you basically are condoning his stupidity of ignorance. You're condoning it in a microsector. It's just like if your fucking employer comes out today and says, hey, we don't want to talk about Trump. We want nothing about Trump to be discussed. Why not? I have freedom of speech. I have the right to speak it. But we're not. We're being tainted by him. But we had the opportunity in the micro level to be leaders, and we're not being fucking leaders. Everybody's fucking folding. And that just shows you the ignorance and the fucking stupidity as an American citizen we all are. Because we're all falling into this own trap that he's playing, whether it's smart or not. It's happening.
All right. So that being said, so you're not. You got to go back to the root of the problem, dog. It goes back to Trump, dog. Because understand. You have to understand the position of influence. You have to. Mike, I get it, but you have to understand what the power and what the influence of that position, that office holds, dog. Indirectly or directly, bro. No company wants to go against a president. It's not about going against Trump, dog. It's going about the president of the United States, dog.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
And everybody wants to be political, and they're doing the same thing that you're doing, dog. You're saying those corporate executives are doing the same thing that you're doing by saying that Trump's message is just being presented, and he's doing well. He's doing his message is good, but it's being presented in the wrong way. Those corporate executives, though, they're sitting in the table with other board members from other companies, and they're saying, okay, I understand that he wants to be aggressive and he wants to drain the swamp and all that stuff, but at the same time, I don't think the way he's projecting his message, and that's what you know what, if you read the not the briefings but the press releases of like ESPN's executives and all the other, that's what they're saying, that like while we don't agree with the president's personal agenda, we still uphold the office of the president to the utmost respect and the influence of that. While we respect that, we respect our employees, but at the same time, there is a fashion and a way of how our employees should be putting out their personal feelings, especially towards right. But at the same time, exactly, while they're saying they're still siding with Trump, though.
In a way, and that's what I'm saying.
Right, but what you're saying exactly.
Is the true nature of every American citizen.
Right, because but the thing is that they're
you hold power.
Right.
You're showing your true colors.
Exactly. But that's the thing, though. It's different. Businessman Trump businessman Trump could say whatever the hell he wants to say. There is no impact, no influence. But the president of the United States, when he says something, dog, that shit carries across the water, dog. Because no company wants to be the enemy of the president of the United States.
Okay, then.
Not in this country. Now, if they're from another country, yeah, dog, fuck it, dog. You don't affect me, dog. Because at the end of the day, though, because at the end of the day, look what happened, dog. Look what happened to the NFL. The NFL got attacked. The NFL got attacked, and then all of a sudden, they're gonna get hit up on taxes, dog.
No, I get that, Frank, but you're not.
But if you get that, you can't say but, dog. If you grasp something, you cannot say but, because there is no but. The but is you're giving the reasoning and the sensibility to the Trump.
We don't have the right to speak. We don't have the right, and that's what you're saying right now. That's what you're saying.
No, I never said that. I never said that. I said you could. There are limitations. I've always said that. There are limitations to all our rights. You could have freedom of speech. You could have you can have freedom of speech. You can have right to protest. You can have right to petition and everything. But everything is limited, though, because even with you having freedom of speech, you just can't be fucking wilding out and saying lies about people, because that's slander and that's libel. One's writing lies about it, and one's is verbally saying lies. So while we still have the right, the freedom to freedom of expression, freedom of speech, we still have to curtail and still be aware of being liable to what we say and being slander, though. You know what I'm saying? So we do have the freedom of speech, we have to be cautious of what we say about people, especially if we're just making up lies, because that's actually a crime. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Frank, you're not understanding what I'm trying to get at, bro.
I think I know what you're trying to say. I just feel like I just feel like I caught you. I feel like you just
agree with this president, dog. I mean, there's a lot of shit to disagree with, and you can make a good case that everything comes out of his mouth. We could disagree.
Yeah.
At a glance, the man at the beginning, the man has a good message. He had a great message that got himself elected. Okay.
What message was that? What great message was that?
Some of the shit. Listen, some of the shit of his fucking views could have been harsh. The many few views, because he didn't give you a lot of views, and he still got elected somehow, some way. My point is, as an American citizen, today, as I stand here and I'm talking to you, all I can tell you is that this fucking biased, this racist motherfucking president has just took out the true colors of everybody that's been fucking putting a mask on and shaking hands and saying all this bullshit. But at the same time, you still have the ability as an American citizen to step up and stand in front of it and be beyond. Leaders in every position of power has the opportunity to make a difference. And those people, either one thing, are they being silenced, or they're not doing nothing and they're being submitted, just like you said, because nobody wants to be the enemy of the president. So this man right now we have in power is a man that is managing and running this country based on fear right now, dog.
Right, and that's the thing. And that's the thing, that it goes back to the Republican Party. The Democrats could scream from the fucking mountain high. Any corporations could fucking leave this country, but it's up to the Republicans to fucking figure out what the fuck they want to do with this dude.
That's what I'm saying. We could point the fingers at Trump, but there is check and balances here, Frank.
Right, but Trump, but don't. Right, but let's not take, but don't take the onus, don't take the focus off of Trump, because because a lot of this shit is self-inflicted from what he's doing, and a lot of it is self-inflicted. But at the same time, we have to look to the Republican Party to take care of this shit. Otherwise, dog, it's gonna be taken care of by the citizens, dog.
You want to talk about look at the Republican Party? Bro, they having a fucking agenda. They have to. They need this because they need to make sure that the next couple of years they have a Republican in power. They want to keep a Republican in power.
Well, yeah, but also they also have elections coming up. They also have elections coming up in 2018. Now there's a possibility that in 2018 that both houses may go back to Democrat. So
that's the threat right
And
now.
I want all these motherfucking Republicans, all these Trump supporters, dog. I want all these motherfuckers to be held accountable for what they said, dog, and for what they do, dog.
This motherfucker who really pissed me off is that motherfucking Mike Pence, dog. That motherfucker.
Oh my god, dog. Dog, he's a bigger piece of shit, dog. He's a bigger piece of shit, dog. But you know that shit was premeditated, dog. That shit was premeditated. You knew that.
That's what pisses me off the most, dog. It was not a fucking. He was not going to watch the game. It was just a fucking political stunt, and I'm sick of that.
Dog,
shit,
you know what they did, dog. You know what they did. The Trump administration, the Trump campaign, they send out messages. I posted shit on Twitter. They send out messages after like all this shit happened with the NFL and everything. That they send out messages to their donors, asking them to donate, whatever they could to the campaign so they could still keep the movement alive.
I think Jerry Jones is a big donor for the Trump administration. Fuck Jerry Jones.
Nigga, Jerry Jones, the owner of the Redskins, that nigga gave $1 million after he was elected. In other words, for like the party that they throw the president when they come in after the inauguration or whatever. I'm like, nigga, whatever. Look, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, the decision for me is easy, dog. I don't care for NFL. I prefer the college football. NCAA, yes, that has the problems. We'll address that shit at another time, dog. But the NFL is the big monster. The one that they could do no wrong, and the one with the softest, the weakest player association there is, dog. That's why to this day, dog, people talk shit about MLB, that is a boring game, this and that. Nigga, but you will never go up against the MLBPA, dog. The MLBPA, nigga, them niggas is on. Nigga, them niggas, you don't even, the government don't even want to go up against that shit, nigga. It took people to leak out fucking names, dog, that the MLBPA was protecting on the steroids, dog. The government couldn't even fucking get in that shit, nigga. The MLBPA was like, nah, nigga, we ain't releasing these names. I don't give a fuck if it's a federal indictment. But then niggas started squealing, dog. You know what I'm saying? So.
That's bullshit, dog. I mean, I told Leslie, I even told Leslie's mom yesterday that we're living if we don't be careful, we're gonna fall into one of those nations that we talk about dictatorship.
Mike, it's Adolf Hitler, dog.
You may have repercussions, dog.
It's Adolf Hitler. I know that it goes to an extreme, dog, but that's I'm not talking about Adolf Hitler. I'm talking about pre-World War II Hitler, dog, where he was a known artist, and he was up on the coming. He came through the ranks, fed into the bullshit, and then when he got his opportunity, dog, he put blame to where blame could be had, dog.
Yeah, dog. That's what I was telling. I was telling my girl, man, this is getting out of control. You see more stupid shit. But man, look, man, I like I told her, and I was standing firm, dog. Some of his views in the beginning were great. The way he's carrying those views now, it's getting ridiculous, it's stupid, embarrassing, and it's just, and to be honest with you, any new or any future president, dog, he's gonna have to be strong and firm, dog, and may have to say shit that we may not like, because all he's doing is fucking up this shit, relationships everywhere. There's a lot of cleanup to do, man. You know what I'm talking about?
You understand? You understand that we came from 8 great years, dog. While it may not have seemed great at the time, when we go back 10, 20 years from now, dog, and our kids look at our kids, my son, your nephews, dog, are gonna look back in 20 years and say, "What the fuck were you guys doing, dog? What happened? Y'all had 8 great fucking years. It wasn't it wasn't the greatest, but going from what happened with Bush to going to what was, bro, you understand that the Affordable Care Act, you understand that was a Republican led reform, dog, a healthcare reform, that it happened to pass while President Obama was in the office, his administration. Granted, his administration took the Republic, right? But listen, the Affordable Care Act got to the Obama administration and Democrats said, hold up, we need to put safety and guidelines, and we need to put in this shit safety nets, because if this fails, then and fail proofs. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew things were gonna fail, but it just they didn't know how bad it was. You have to put safety nets. You understand that they tried to fucking repeal Obamacare, a 20,000 page fucking healthcare reform that took over 6 years to create, right? They wanted to replace it not only in weeks, but they wanted to replace it in 2 pages, dog.
Yeah, I think the whole entire shit, man. I heard that shit was bad too.
In
dog.
2 pages, dog. That is, dog. They did their homework, dog. The Obama administration, with the help of Republicans and Democrats, they did their homework. They said, okay, we're gonna put things in place that if you eliminate one thing off of it, it's gonna directly affect like healthcare, welfare, and some shit like that. That's why you can't just, people always say, why can't we just get rid of it and start over again? Well, if you eliminate any portion of the Obamacare, it's gonna directly impact somebody else. And so why it's easy to say, hey, let's take this shit away. Yeah, but when you take it away, that's why the OMB, when they come back with their results and shit, they're saying like, hey, 25 million people are going to lose coverage, and then the sicker are going to be paying the higher premiums. They're like, whoa, we can't do that shit. Hold up, dog. And then now, people in Nevada, people in Florida, people in Texas, Arizona, California, New York, the Carolinas, where the majority are elders, they're like, yo, what's going to happen to my community care? What's going to happen to my me living in this nursing home? Nigga, everything's going to go sky high, dog. They're like, hold up, dog. You didn't say it was going to affect me like that, dog. The sick are going to be the ones that are going to be taxed the most. The sick and the elders. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
I was watching, and I don't want to get too off track, but I was watching The Simpsons, dog. And they were talking about that. There was this episode of The Simpsons, because, The Simpsons been notoriously known to predict the future somehow, some way, right?
Yeah.
And back in 2002, it was an episode where Trump was the president. And Lisa, and the symbolic view of her, the way she looked at that time, she looked like Hillary Clinton, right? And in the episode, Hillary Clinton was Lisa was trying to fix the country. The country was bankrupt coming out of President Trump's reign. The fucking shit was bankrupt. The city was bankrupt. Man, it just kind of gives you this foreshadow of where the nation was when she was trying to clean up the mess, Lisa. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, man, there's some crazy shit happening, man. Bad times are happening, man. I just told, like I told Leslie, I just fear that we as a nation, as people, you may get punished, dog, and there won't be no repercussions, dog. I just saw how, I think it was Winston that retweeted how a cop got fired for dragging a white nurse, but you killed a black man, you come out innocent, dog, and you still have your job, dog.
Yeah, dog. They try to tell her. They try to tell her to. Did you see the whole video of the nurse? She tried. No, the cops wanted to have her draw blood so that they could take it back for DNA sampling, and she was like, "No, bro, that blood is part of that person. I'm not gonna give you that. That's protected."
Yeah. You can't. It's illegal, dog. That's HIPAA protected, dog.
Yeah, and they arrested her ass, dog.
Yeah, dog. They dragged her. It looked pretty bad. I saw that shit.
All right, hold up. Talk to Brian. Talk to Brian. Hold up.
Hey, yo, Brian.
Hold on.
Did you just saw the video or something? I'm trying to get some Chick-fil-A, man. I'm hungry.
Bueno, dog, like I said, hey, you've been recorded, dog. So.
Hey, dog, was over USA, man. The fuck? I woke up to that shit. Really?
You what?
What happened to USA, dog? They got their ass whooped yesterday.
I don't know, dog. I feel I have a feeling.
Did you hear me, man?
Not what? What'd you say?
What the fuck happened to USA Soccer, dog? Yesterday.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like if I had the answer to that question, I'd probably be running it, though.
God, dog, I saw that shit this morning, dog. That was gonna be a breeze. Dog, I didn't even watch the game.
You know what happens is I stayed up past midnight, dog, and I saw the reaction that one of my boys from Portland, he put out a good message, dog, saying look at the reaction of the Panamanians, dog. Like listen to the commentators, listening to everybody that was on the mic, and then looking at what the emotions that were going through that field, through that stadium, dog. They wanted it more, dog. You could see how much it meant for them, dog. U.S. soccer are infants, dog. And passion is something that is birthed, dog. It's not given, dog.
We don't need to play no soccer right now, dog. We got problems in the nation.
Nah, that's just the epitome of where we at as a nation, dog.
Hey, but I think somebody needs to call Eminem out, dog, for calling out Trump, dog. Cause in hip hop, anyways, we don't the people that like hip hop, the culture, they don't rely on the system in the first place, dog. No government, no institutions, none of that shit.
The fuck you talking about? That shit was well needed, dog. We needed a fucking veteran that really reps hip hop.
No, bro, he don't represent hip hop. That's another distraction, though. To get people upset, if anything, more division, though.
I feel like you're just taking the opposition role
because
right now.
For real, I mean, fight the power. Fight the power. Any real hip hop never looks up to no fucking president in the first place. Though.
What? That's the point. He said to fight against him.
Oh, I haven't heard it. Well, but this nigga might clearly.
He's not.
I told y'all in the beginning that this president, that chair doesn't fix anything in the first place, though.
But it can, dog. It's the influence.
It's the people that have always had to stand up, and they don't want to stand up. So the people are gonna keep getting fucked, man, by the elites. And they're gonna keep getting more elite. And that's it, bro. End the story, dog. Y'all niggas keep paying your bills, keep showing up to work. Nobody gonna do shit, though. That's it, dog. That's a simple thing. It's always been like bad times. There's always been around, dog.
So people that could have influence, people that could actually have influence and do something, should stay quiet too.
Keep talking don't mean shit, bro.
Right, but just like I was telling Mike the other day, dog, and my boys, I was like, if I take a knee at work, right? If I go and take a knee at work, my actions is only gonna go as far as like 5 feet. That's it. But somebody that has a platform and somebody that has influence and somebody that has a message that's gonna reach the masses and have more impact, then they should do it, dog.
So football players.
Anybody that has a platform. Anybody that has a platform.
Hey, look. The football players that have a problem in the first if all the football players that have a problem with this shit got together, they could start their own league, though. If they really wanted to do something about it, though.
But that's the thing, dog. That's the thing. Not all of them are in the position to do that. It's not all of them. Nobody wants to step up to that plate, though. That's some big shoes to fill. Because look at what happened to Kaepernick. Kaepernick had a platform, but his platform, let's face it, compared to like a Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, his platform was like a speck in the entire thing, though. You know what I'm saying? And look how it has impacted Colin Kaepernick's financial gaining ability, though. In the NFL. Now he could go play somewhere else. Right? He probably got paid for this. He could get another job doing somewhere else, but his platform, he's still using it. Now there's other players like Des Bryant and that are in the Cowboys that are not gonna say anything. Ezekiel Elliott, they're not gonna say anything because they have a lot to lose, dog. And I respect that. I get it, dog. I get it. Protect your money, dog. Look,
I'm not sure what's in their contract,
my mouth. Look, at the end of the day, my job puts food on the table.
We don't know that. We don't know what's in the contract.
Right. At the end of the day, my job provides for my family, for my family's well being, and I'm not gonna put anything to jeopardize that. But at the same time, when you start questioning my manhood, there's a decision I'm gonna have to take, dog. And I think that's where we are as a country, dog. We're getting to that point that
it's always been like that.
Right. But
they killed Martin Luther King.
All right. I feel like anything I say, I feel like
no more, they've already tried it, and they
right. But that generation tried it. Now it's your generation to do so, dog.
Ain't nobody gonna step up, bro. I'm telling you.
I mean, look. You could keep that mindset, that mentality, dog. But I'm telling you right now, dog. Like the frustrations are growing, dog, and
the frustrations have always been there.
Right. But now they're more prevalent, so we can't ignore everything.
And they were even worse back in the days. This is nothing, though. This is play, though.
Oh, okay. But all right, though. So that's
cool. We don't know that. There's motherfuckers out here that got lynched, Emmett Till, just for whistling, though.
And that was right.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just telling you, it's not what it used to be.
Right, but the times changed. The crimes have changed, but
that's why nobody's gonna step up to the plate, though, because money plays a role now, and everybody is mixed in, though. Everybody's mixed up, though. You know.
But that, Frank, that ultimately just kind of solidifies this argument, though. You got a man that is powerful, comes with wealth, ignorant as fuck, has the freedom to speak how he wants due to the stature of his position, and then you embracing that idea. These people, American people, are coming out. You're starting to see that most Americans are not that far behind him. Give them a little bit more money, and you got another Trump everywhere. Does that make sense? And then you just got the lack of fear. For personal entrance, there's a lack of fear. And everybody's gonna, and unfortunately, Colin is one of those many people.
And that's the real argument, dog. Why are people still trying to vote? We should have been dethroned that system in the long.
That lets you know where we at as American citizens. That we're not that far behind from Trump. That there's a split. This nation is split. And the other half are just like Trump, and then the other are against him completely from what he stands for. But that lets you know where this nation is at, Frank.
Oh no, I already knew that. I told you that from the beginning that racism, the discrimination has always been there. Now all of a sudden, like they feel like empowered. They feel empowered because they have somebody that they could look up to and say, hey, look, just like how we said, like when President Obama was in office, that people would say, oh, now black people are gonna act a fool and shit. Now they have a racist in the office. Now racism is gonna come up to the forefront. Nigga, they just had another fucking another tiki torch fucking movement or rally, fucking KKK rally in Charlottesville again, dog. I think like a couple days after the Nevada shit, dog.
Because delivering messages at some kids softball shit or some shit. I gotta read that shit.
Yeah, man. That's what we're saying. That like, now, before it was kept, into the closets, into the rooms, the conversations inside. Now all of a sudden, though, like these are conversations that are being had in the public, though, and they're not just having being had. They're being acted upon now, though.
And that, man, it's sad, dog. I mean,
it is, man. It's a sad time right now because,
man, we would have been grown out of this shit, man.
But a decade or two of like silence, it just masked it. It just put a mask. You put a Band-Aid on this wound and start putting stitches on it and trying to address the issue. And that's what happened. And regardless of what anybody says, though, We can't give up, dog. As people,
How
we
can you
can't
address
give
the
up,
issue?
dog. As humans, dog.
How
We
can you
can't.
address the issue?
That,
That's a good question.
that's a good question, dog. Like
Because,
I don't know how
because
to. I don't know how to do it. But we have to
and
try something.
you know how to do it. Y'all motherfuckers ain't ready to do it. You ain't got the werewolves, la bolita, nigga. You ain't ready, though.
What you mean, dog? You talking about like
Everybody-
overthrow a government? Overthrow a government, dog? You gonna overthrow a government?
We can.
Okay.
That's
All right.
all right.
All right. Let's walk this through. Let's think this through.
But
Oh, no, hold up. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow your train. I'm gonna follow your thinking thought.
it's not that
So
easy.
we get 5 million people to buy into this. All right, cool. You know, we probably get more. We all we'll take our positions, cause like some military niggas are probably gonna be like, yo, I want to join your cause, and some military generals, they're gonna be like, yo, come to the forts and we're gonna do this, right? So it's gonna be like it has to be a simultaneous attack, dog, because we can't just go in little spurts. It has to be simultaneous. All right, so we're gonna say, but you know how, just like how we're gathering support, you know, the presidency is gonna gather their support. All right, whatever. So there's gonna be a clash at some point. So we all just gonna go down to like Washington D.C. area, basically surround like the Maryland area for outposts and shit.
The real problem.
But check this out. Hold up. So
taking too long.
no, hold up. So we gonna overthrow this nigga. We're gonna murk him.
Whatever.
We're gonna murk him. But right before we murk him, we're putting this nigga's gonna fucking hit the red button and fucking nuke everybody else though.
Yeah, whatever. You
Hey,
can't be
hold
scared
on,
to
man.
die, though.
Mike Pence don't even know for fucking your shoes, fucking. He don't even know what fucking.
Mike Pence,
right,
Mike
man.
Pence,
So,
listen,
that motherfucker's not that
listen,
behind either,
listen,
man. Mike
listen.
Pence is fucking.
Some other people are already addressing the problem.
Listen,
you gotta
listen.
start by learning your history and where you come from, and then you'll understand that you don't need
Oh my god.
that you don't need this system, dog. Because
14 minutes ago.
there's a movement right now.
Just tweet an issue, a direct threat to freedom and independent media, dog.
Look, there's a movement right now. People are trying to get rid of Christopher Columbus, dog, from the history books. That's something that should have been done. So that's why a lot of people are divided because.
Well, okay, hold up. So why are you gonna eliminate Christopher Columbus from the history books?
Because he was a rapist, dog. It's just horrible, dog.
Expand on it. Come on.
Nah, there's information on that's not my lane.
Okay. So we didn't eliminate, but we didn't erase Adolf Hitler though.
But I'm trying to tell you,
even the German people did not eliminate. The German people, right? But the German people did not. The way they move forward,
a lot of the people here, indigenous people, they don't know their history. They don't.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
I'm not.
Have you been to a fucking Indian reservation though?
Man,
and
I'm
actually
talking
spoken
about.
to them?
Them motherfuckers got their own laws, though. Their own rules.
Have you seen that? No, you gonna tell me that the Native Americans, these indigenous people that you speak of, you don't know where they're coming from, though? Have you
talking about Hispanic people and black people, though, mainly.
But we were brought up over here.
Whatever. Maybe I misused the term, but I'm talking about all the minorities, the brown people. We don't know our history.
What's your history?
We don't know.
What history are we talking about?
The history before we got indoctrined in this Christianity stuff, before contact with the Europeans, everything before that. Nobody really knows.
Well, there are people that know.
Yeah, it's not a many though. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
They don't teach us that in school though.
And I know that's what I'm saying. It's one of the problems. That's why.
But you also know what we don't talk.
That's where we lose a lot of numbers, right there.
But you also know what we don't talk about in school. We don't talk about how racist this country is. We don't talk we don't talk about how many slave owners were part of the United States. We don't talk about how the Southern agenda was revolved around slavery.
Hey, so let me tell
We
you
don't talk
something.
about we don't talk about the White House. We don't talk about the White House built by slaves
They do talk about it.
now, but they don't talk about it in the curriculum in a public school.
But
In the
you have to
United
read between
States,
the lines.
it's not that. That is something that you have to go out there and read beyond. Though.
Read between the lines, and yeah.
And then also,
And that's the other problem.
look at one of the most developed countries, dog, in Germany. Look at what happened in Germany.
Shut
Germany.
up, bro.
Look at what happened in Germany. Germany
The other
after
problem
Adolf Hitler, they said never again, never again.
The parents don't know how to teach
Right,
their
but then
children.
never again.
Parents don't know
And so
how
what
to
they
give
do?
their own children
So
the
Adolf Hitler was
education,
was they always talk about
Hey,
the
this
Holocaust.
guy likes talking about Germany. Bro.
But I'm just telling you, bro. You say that there's already precedence to how to address this issue. If we're not being taught about our own history, we're not being taught about what actually happened. Germany is a perfect example that I could point to. They embraced. They say, look, this is they owned it up. They say, hey, this is what the German people did. This is what happened. This was the cause and effect, and this is what we're doing now to prevent this from ever happening again. They specifically have curriculums devoted to the Holocaust and to what they study Adolf Hitler to ensure that some shit like that does not happen again. This country, and you just proved it to me, dog, that this country, we haven't embraced our history yet. Not necessarily my history, but our history.
That's a good point, man. You might have to embrace it, dog, so you can learn from it, dog.
Nah, I mean, because
Can't forget it, man. It's like,
Yeah.
people talk like
We
this
haven't
shit
embraced. That is the
racist,
problem.
man.
I'm not trying to talk over anybody or trying to demean you or nothing. I think you got a good point, but again, just to prove your point, and to maybe emphasize your point a little bit more, we as a nation, the United States of America, we have not addressed the issue of how this country came to be, bro. We shy away anytime, bro. Anything you could do it now. Anytime you talk about what white power or slavery, the room gets tense, dog. You know what I'm saying? And they pull
the
back.
problem is that the Europeans haven't stepped up to the plate and said, look, we were some motherfucking snakes. We had evil intentions from the beginning. And that's it. I think it's really just an apology that's needed at this point, and that party needs to correct some of the individuals in their party, because it's not all the white people either. But that's where it kind of starts too. It's not necessarily a white thing, but you know, they haven't. I haven't seen an apology though. Like I said, they've taken out many profits.
That's why I think it's critical that this guy Eminem came out and did that powerful shit.
And nobody's gonna step up to the plate no more, because based on history, you get taken out though. Get eliminated, dog. I got somebody right here in the neighborhood trying to take me out. You think I want the goddamn government to take me out, nigga?
I'm trying to pick you up, bro.
Shit, I'm being recorded, though.
That ain't stupid. Why is Frank recording me, dog?
I don't know, dog.
Hey, don't do that shit without my consent, Frank. I can report you, though. I'm about to watch CNN. I'm about to watch a little bit of fake news. See what's going on. Fake news. That's all I do. Watch fake news for a living.
I think y'all love that shit, dog. That's your little soap opera.
He's trying to shut down the media, dog. He's trying to talk to Congress, dog.
How can he shut down the media? That's like telling the Golden State Warriors he can't come. They can't come. We don't want to come.
You know he has the power to like turn off the internet, right?
I don't want to watch the news, man.
Yeah. Obama passed that law, Mr. Frank Mio.
No, it's always
Yeah.
been there.
Just fact check. Obama passed that
Right,
law.
but it's always been there.
We don't need the internet.
It's
Bro.
always been there. No, it's always been there. You're talking about monitoring the internet. That's what was passed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The switch to turn off the internet, like literally turn it off.
What is that? What is that? A threat though?
No, that's every country has that power.
What is that? A threat or what? What is the?
No, I'm just talking to Mike about it, just letting him know, like he's fact checking. I'm like, just you know, I don't want you to make a fool out of yourself, dog.
Obama, let me. Obama passed that.
Okay. All right.
Obama passed it to be able to shut down the internet and to monitor it.
Okay.
So who cares if they shut the internet down? That's not necessarily the media. You still got radio and TV.
Oh my God, though, you understand? Do you know who the FCC is, Brian?
Brian don't know what we're talking about. Brian don't know what.
Do you know what? You ever heard of the FCC?
Yeah, the FCC has the ability to monitor
the SEC, nigga, the Southeastern Conference.
The FCC right now is under pressure right now.
Why? Hey, look, man. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Who's watching, nigga?
Trump wants to shut down the media, Frank.
I guess, though. Anyway, though, hey, I just been recording for like the last 15 minutes, bro.
No, see.
So I give you permission, though.
That's why I asked.
Hey, Mike, can you do me a favor? Can you please, like, not chew and talk, though?
Like, what does it mean?
I don't care, though, because I shouldn't be being recorded, though. I do not approve that recording.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to. I told you right at the beginning. You're being recorded, and you proceeded.
Everything I said was off the record.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's why I have a digital recording. I have saying that, hey, I disclosed that you were being recorded, and you proceeded with your thoughts.
No, you ain't got my permission.
No, that was you basically gave me your consent.
Anyways, man, football this season has been weird, though. I don't mean the whole year has been weird, but with this just political in general, though. Make you want to go on vacation and shit, dog, if you've been keeping up with that shit. But the sports, that shit's been crazy, though. The political shit kind of came into sports a little bit, though, with the flag and the knees, but it's a weird season, though. The Dolphins are doing cocaine and shit. Like, fucking Patriots have the worst defense in the league. Shit, the fucking Kansas City Chiefs are number one.
That's what you wanted to talk about? That's it?
No, I'm just saying, though.
Like, that's all you got to say about the NFL? I see you looking at your pen.
It's hard. I don't know what to bring up because you haven't been keeping up with it. I know Mike, that nigga, he's kind of stupid in that lane too. That's why I got kind of quiet. Only, when it comes to the sports, you guys are kind of falling off, though, unfortunately. And you're Florida State.
Go ahead. There you go. See, there you go. Go ahead. This is. Here's your platform. Go ahead. The floor is yours, sir. We deserve everything we have coming. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just saying, this is the worst football season ever, dog.
Oh no, that nigga Frank talking shit. That's all I was saying. Like, football season's weird. Like I don't even know what's going on, though.
Go ahead, Brian. No, hey Mike, he's dying to talk some smack about Florida State football and be losing to Miami at the crib.
About Florida State, man.
Right, we know you don't care, so you care about Miami.
You can ask Mike, man. You simply were just another opponent on the schedule. Moving on, that's it.
Fair, that's fair.
Miami's way up too, man. Florida, man, I don't know, man. Fuck football, man. Football, man, everything is all fucked up, man. Fuck all this shit. I'm pissed.
No, I mean, the Canes, they got the star running back went down, but we
Yeah,
got
but,
another one on deck.
yeah, but he had a he had
But
a he had a messed up ankle. What didn't he?
yeah, he's done. He's done. Everybody's ankle got injured this week.
Wow.
Odell Beckham.
No, he ain't broke his ankle. He
Hey,
broke his.
let me ask you a question, Brian. Since you want to talk about the NFL, and truth be told, okay, I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I hate
Hold on,
about this shit.
hold
That
on,
political shit kind of took
hold
some
on.
people out of the interest of the NFL.
Ho-
They're getting in everybody's head, dog. They're winning though.
Hold on. So okay, so just to be clear it up, though, like I am not. Frank is not. I'm not boycotting the NFL. Okay, but it's just one of those things that for me it never interested me. To me, that NFL, NCAA football, college football was the one that always had that I was always passionate about. The NFL, the NFL has been one of those things that it was something to do on Sunday for me. I think it took me like even up to like 3 years ago to go to my first NFL game at Arrowhead Stadium, which was fun. You know what I mean? I haven't been there back since then, so I'm not. You know, I don't have like a. I guess for me it's easy to do because and stay away from the NFL because, quite frankly, I don't have a stake in it. Now I still do watch college football. I mean, I watch all the games, but I do pay attention to Florida State, even though when we lost to Miami, which is like
Be honest, bro.
but you know, but then you add to the mix the fantasy football that you Brian right now are one of the commissioners, or if not the commissioner. Like, I mean, I want to ask you a question. Is like, do you have something invested in an NFL other than your fantasy football team?
No.
You know, so like really, you know, you watch the NFL football. You essentially do the same thing I would have been doing if I was playing the NFL fantasy football league. Because I would have been watching for my players.
I used to like going to the football games, but unfortunately, all the football fans are fucking maniacs, bro.
In other words, Brian got his ass for plenty of time. He goes,
Oh yeah, that way you hit in the bush.
he gets caught over a bush.
No, you didn't hide in the bush. You dove into the bush. You didn't even do the Homer Simpson that you slowly faded into the bush. You dove into the bush. And then you be like, no, man, hold up, man, no.
But anyways,
that was one of those stories that when we went to Florida
all
State
the fucking
together.
football fans are maniacs. They don't know how to lose, though. When I was at the Alabama versus Florida State game, I had glares coming at me, and I don't even cheer for any of those teams.
Did you saw that video that came up that surfaced a couple of days after that? An Alabama fan like stumped a girl, an FSU fan.
What happened?
Saw that video? Like days after that Alabama FSU game, there was this lady, an FSU fan, a girl. She got slammed, man, like body slammed by Alabama fan, bro. And then you see the video go blank. Everybody starts forming and beat that nigga's ass, bro.
Alabama male fan slammed a Florida State female?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you here, man. I'm trying to tell you, I like the sport, but there's no view better than the one from my house, dog, because when you go out there and you try to experience these things in person, you run into people that apparently should go trial for fucking WWE, what used to be WWF back in my days, but it's like you're going to fucking WrestleMania when you go to these fucking football games and shit, man. Drunk motherfuckers that if their team is losing, be careful, though. They might take it out on you.
It's passion, bro. It's passion.
But, nah, I mean, other than that, the view from the house is pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, I forgot what we were saying. You better cut that shit out, though.
No, but like, no, I feel you, though, because You know, like even when I go when people ask us to go,
And oh yeah, I was gonna say, dog, you saw that shit that happened in Vegas, dog. I don't go to the crowds no more, dog. Fuck that shit.
but that's
Here
fear.
lately, dog.
Okay, but that's fear though.
No, that's not fear. I don't ask Mike. He invited me, dog. He was there a couple weeks before the incident, and I think he was supposed to be there during the incident.
No, he wasn't.
He's always in Vegas, but
He's only been to Vegas like 2 times, bro.
I think he went on the other line. But nah, yeah, and cause I don't know when that GG fight was, but they were supposed to be over there, though.
Hey, look at the camera, bro. Why you?
It's cause this the iPad, though. It's tall. It's the big one.
Yeah, but you're looking down, though. You got notes
I
written down.
I don't want to be like this, though.
But that's a good view, though.
For you, not
Yeah.
for me.
Man, let me be on the record that Frank is doing his own self-interest things on taxpayers' money. Oh, I have a big problem with that shit. This guy's supposed to be at work and he's doing his own shit on taxpayers' money. Though. Let it be
That
known.
nigga just paused it, dog.
That
That nigga just paused his recording, bro.
Hey, that's you can't prove that. You can't prove that. That's that shit I was telling you about, that slander libel, man. Libel shit, man. You just out here like just telling the listeners lies and shit. You know better than that president you voted for, dog.
Damn, Frank went on mute, man. He started stuttering, dog. His internet connection went in and out, dog.
Right, yeah, because President Obama is turning off my internet. That's why.
Frank is trying to censor me, man. That's fucked up. Hey, man. So I gotta ask you, man. What's your whole take about this Vegas stuff? I haven't talked to you about that, man.
Hey, I was telling him, weren't you guys supposed to be over there, though?
No.
I'm not surprised, dog. You were supposed to be there like the week before that shit, though.
I was there about a week ago.
Exactly.
And I actually saw the stage being set up when I was there, because I got dropped off in the Luxor, and then to my right side we got off the highway and we were coming into that road that separates the concert to the Luxor, and I saw the stage being set up, and then I saw the advertisement, and I was like, oh shit, some shit might be coming up, you know. But I had to ask Frank, because Frank, you know, you was in the army, so you heard gunfires in the past. I never really heard an assault rifle live. I don't even know if you have. But you honestly think it was by yourself, Frank?
I mean, with the, I don't know. I mean, I really haven't. I don't know.
Hey, hold on. I have not watched anything, though. I feel guilty, though.
Have you seen any videos of it?
I removed myself, though.
Okay,
So
but
I wanted to make that clear, though. Everything that you guys are saying is new information to me, though.
okay.
Just saying,
For-
I'm just saying, Frank, because I know you heard guns before.
For one thing, what I would say is that it's for me. I feel like it's something that I can foresee it being what they call a quote unquote lone wolf, or a person acting alone or whatnot. From what I heard or from what I've seen so far is he's made multiple trips to Vegas. You know, he's gone there to gamble and all that stuff. So as a former military and member on one of the things that we are taught is obviously you plan your attacks. You never attack on the whim or hastily. You know, you always have a plan, and you try to execute that plan to the best of your ability. Obviously, things are gonna your plan's not always gonna go in accordance. You know, you always gotta expect things to deviate a little bit or whatnot. But at the same time, is I could see it him being acting on by himself. That being said, you know, I don't know, you know, if he bought all the weapons or if he had help by somebody else bought weapons for him too. You know what I'm saying? So because the amount of weapons and the amount of ammunition he had in the room, unless he's been collecting it like throughout the years or over time, it should have raised the flag somewhere, especially like, he had a whole bunch of high caliber weapons too. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I could see it happening. And from the point of view that he was shooting down at, just like everybody else, when the news broke, I thought it was like, in the concert, amongst the concert goers, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that he actually went and he had a high point and was shooting down at the crowd from across the street. And with those type of rifles, while you might have had a scope on it or whatnot, you could just basically point that out and imagine, like, it's like you shooting your weapon from your roof into the pool. You're gonna hit something.
Bro,
I don't know what he was aiming at. So I mean,
hey, that's a great point.
I don't.
Hey, now, those are very interesting points.
I'm not gonna entertain the idea of a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. Like, the government did this. It was an inside job. No, I think this was just a madman. But what I will say is, I don't like how, if this gunman was a person of color, other than white, shade or whatever, we would have been calling this a terrorist act. Because
shit, it was war.
But because it's a white, because it's a white man. Hold on. Because he's a white man. Because he's a white man.
I was gonna say,
hold on, because
he made an interesting point.
Because he's a
Where did he get all the ammunition?
Right, hold on, but because he's a white man. Hold on.
It could be done by one man.
Hold on.
It could be done by one man because everybody's in one square.
But hold on.
But no, I got those basic details.
But hold on though. But look, but check this out though. So, because this man is a white man, he's a mentally ill.
Hey, look,
they've already said it. He's a mentally ill person. This is the worst casualty. This is the worst casualty. Over 500 injured, and 50, 60 dead. You know what I'm saying? And by a single person. That's the highest casualty. But we're not calling this homegrown terrorism.
All right, number one. All right, are you ready to let me speak for a second? Because I want to ask a couple questions.
Sure. I mean, I may not have the answer, so I'm not gonna create an answer for you neither. So.
All right, so can you round me off hours, minutes? How much coverage have you followed from this, right quick?
Oh, I'll tell you, here and there, it's touch and go. It's not. I probably don't have like over 10 hours of coverage.
10 minutes.
Can you say 30 minutes less of coverage you've probably seen?
You talking about like me watching other people talk about it or me reading it?
Yeah, overall, just following the media.
I'll say 3-4 hours. And
3-4 minutes.
3-4 hours, and as the stuff comes out and develops, I read it.
And in no shape or form I'm saying this is a conspiracy theory, right? But there are dates that in my situation,
here you go.
I want to answer.
Here's the but.
Yeah, they ruled it out. They ruled it out that it was not terrorism, like you said. But if you're telling me that one of the most top, notorious, most wanted terrorist group comes out hours after the incident happened and takes full responsibility for the attacks, how the hell do we as Americans say, no, we're ruling them out? When the ISIS itself came out and said they took responsibility.
Okay, so right. All right, no, wait, hold on. So before you go to your next point, let me at least address that one. Okay, so ISIS is going to take credit regardless of any harm done, especially towards Americans. Whether they the ones that actually, planned it, carried it out, or whatever. They even took credit for the black man that they blew up by robot in Houston. a couple months ago, and it wasn't even, all it was just he had like mental disorder or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in the military. So he had so there was no connection to ISIS. ISIS, you gotta understand, is in the business of causing chaos. So by ISIS and even just coming out saying that, or putting it out there saying that they're claiming fucking responsibility for it, even though they fucking probably never had nothing to do with it, that gives them credibility. And then it's up to us to make sure that, hey, no, bro, you had nothing to do with that. Because whether they,
it's convenient. So when it's convenient as a nation to say that yes, we need this to be a terrorist attack, we will make it a terrorist attack.
Mike, no. You gotta think. You gotta think beyond that. You gotta be logical about it. If you are an organization to cause terror, and no one's taking responsibility, you're gonna do it because all it does is just builds you credibility. Because their followers don't give a fuck if they actually had nothing to do with it. All they care about is the damage that was caused. They don't care if they had nothing to actually do.
With that being said, number one, I'm saying within hours they rolled that shit out. So that's fucking hilarious to me. Because number one, it's like you said, it was a deliberate act. It was well planned. And this guy, he came into it, it caused chaos.
Hold on. On the surface, to me, it feels like this wasn't like a one-off thing. This wasn't like I just woke up that morning and I'm gonna shoot motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a lot of weapons, he had a lot of baggage, he had a lot of ammunition. So, and he for a frequenter of Vegas, I could see how it could and he didn't live too far. I think he would live in Mesquite, Nevada, or whatever, which is like an hour, 2 hours away from where the fuck he's at. So he's willing to drive his distance. So it's not like for us, like we would actually have to plan this shit out. You know what I mean? Like I have to go through airport security type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but all right, that's fine, man. But let me try to get to some points that I'm looking for answers from everywhere, and I'm not gonna probably ever get them. My point is, so you have that situation, okay? So we're not calling, if it's not a terrorist attack, we're not calling it a domestic terrorist. We're not calling it. We're not calling it domestic terrorism. We don't want to use that word. So what we're basically saying is this man went insane, had a mental illness, kind of goes back to all the massive shooting. Every massive shooter goes back to the same thing, the same conclusion. Mental illness. Yeah. But we're not doing this as a domestic terrorism because that's not what they want to put the media. Does not want to tell you that. That's fine. Now let me ask you a question. Besides that one infamous picture of him with his eyes closed, how many other more pictures have you seen from this guy at his current stage during that weekend? And let it be known, we're talking about the MC and Grant. And it was no secret that CNN and they were talking about how detectives come into Vegas to get into training, someone were trained by the MGM security teams because they have one of the state-of-the-art, one of the most advanced technology security camera systems in these casinos. Why? And tell me how many videos have you seen of in that week of the casino? Why? Because he was there from Thursday. How many videos has came out of him wandering around the casinos or to his room? Have you seen any of it?
Oh, I could tell you right now. I could tell you exactly why that is. That's no secret. That's because now it's a federal investigation. There's no video. The video is going to be reviewed. The video is going to be reviewed. No, hold on. But that's what I'm saying though. Like that video, that's just like evidence. The evidence is not going to be presented until it's actually deemed actual evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that were at the concerts, they can't go back in there and get their clothes, their shoes, their phones, their wallets. That shit's been cordoned off because that's a crime scene, and not because it's the federal government. They have jurisdiction over it, so they're gonna have to review and examine it before it's actually, and then they have to create a report of it before it's actually the footage is actually leaked. Now, unless NGM decides to sell a 50-second clip of the person, but even then though, at this point they will know the federal government and the authorities will know where the leak came from. Does that make any sense? So,
No, it doesn't.
so like if the leak came, unless it was like a cell phone footage or anything like that, and that's all you're really gonna get right now. But anything that comes from a recorded device that's like part of like a MGM property, or part of like across the street that's like a part of the Nevada Police Department, you're not gonna see that until it's, they call it sanitized. In other words, until it's been cleared to make sure that is released, because that's still evidence. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to taint the evidence. Is it right or wrong? I can't tell you. I got my theories, but at the same time,
The only thing that you have, and then I've seen hours, I'll say maybe about 2 hours worth of video, is all the YouTube videos that's been leaked out on YouTube. Because remember, it was the concert happening, so there was a lot of recording happening.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get those, but as far as like anything that comes from like a camera that's attached to that has a hotel property.
The only thing I can take I gotta take the word of the FBI, the investigators, that he was in this location, because you see the visual video of him walking around in that week. We don't know anything. We just have.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the job of, that's the job of the press to keep us informed, and all these briefings that
they will not release that video of him committing that crime. Maybe not.
Yeah, because even then, like if you think back of like the Boston Marathon bombers, when they chased them and they shut down Boston or whatever. They had the videos of all the cameras, because it's kind of like in New York City that in every corner they have like cameras that are taking video. They're not following people, but you could, they have it's sophisticated enough that they could tag like a facial recognition type of shit. So they had that video to chase them and finally track the person down. But the videos, it took I think like about a month and a half to actually, they actually had to put the video together and show from different angles and show when they were actually going when they were arriving at the airport, when they were going to the mall, and then when they were making dry runs, as far like in other words, like when they were doing walkthroughs before the actual explosion of where the most impact was going to be at. You know what I'm saying? So again, the next couple months is going to be crucial to see what is actually with the video, what they find. Because at the same time, you got to be careful what you actually release, though. Because I'm pretty sure, just like how you just said, you don't want MGM to they have something to protect, though. You know what I'm saying? You don't know where all those cameras are. You don't know what the capabilities are. And as a gambler, you probably want to know exactly what the fuck they're capable to do. So they have a vested interest in making sure that they keep that shit as tight as possible and only release what is actual evidence and not something that's going to jeopardize their security system. So.
Saying how genuine was this? Because the only thing you get is videos, and that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of videos that were pointing up to the fucking to the building where the shooting was coming from. But you know this, Frank. Every gun that spits gun bullets, don't they have a muzzle shot? Like
no, not all of them. They don't have a flash. If you're looking for a flash, no.
So that one doesn't have a flash. The same gun that was using doesn't generate flash. That's bullshit.
I don't know. There's things you could do to hide it. Just like snipers do that all the time.
What I think you need to hear is these videos. This video. You need to listen to these videos, and there's a lot of videos that come out that there was two guns being shot at the same time, though.
I mean, and it could very well be, bro. He could have had. You gotta understand it. It could have started off with like a single rifle, and then could have been just like a machine gun. You could hold with two hands and you push down, and at the same time, that buttstock.
No one ever said that you had a machine gun. Now they may have to add that into it.
Well, they're semi-auto. They're semi-auto.
Go ahead.
Like like I said, it could be more done. It can be done. I just don't. I mean, for me to recreate the scene for you and like the next
3-year-old man with no military experience, you're gonna tell me that this guy? Then we gotta go back to the possible ruling of the ISIS thing, then, right? Right or wrong?
no, bro. Like, but we know that the ISIS thing has been debunked already.
Did he cooperate 2 guns at the same time? The fuck?
Yeah, I could operate 2 guns at the same time. I could get 2 Uzis. I could have 2 Uzis
across the room, and we're not together. There was 2 different angles. And you're talking about.
Hey, this man Mike is talking like he's assassinating one person in particular. He's just shooting.
Yeah, you got to think he's not aiming at a single person. You know what I'm saying? He's spraying. You're spraying.
With your hands, and you gotta tell me you can pick them up and shoot, and then reload them back, both of them, and back and
but that's I don't know what kind of casings he had, bro. I in Iraq I carried a magazine that held 100 rounds. I had 3 of those.
Let's see.
One magazine on an M16 or M4 holds about 20 rounds. I had a magazine specially made, modified to hold 100 rounds.
I'm trying to Google search the guns.
So there, you know, you buy a weapon, but there's modifications you can make to it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, there's just like people.
Arsenal 23 weapons, including semi-automatic, which is concerning because the semi-automatic don't spit like the way it was spitting.
Right. That's because they're saying the buttstock, whatever. It's if you look up what the buttstock that fucking thing, if it's like a self recoil that it's going to act like an automatic weapon. But it's like essentially like it just uses your shoulder. It's like a ricochets off your shoulder. So once it bounces off your shoulder, it cocks and loads the next round, the next set. So instead of you squeezing the trigger, you're basically with the impact of the recoil going back into your shoulder. It's like kind of acting like as the trigger mechanism. So it's spitting out more rounds. So that pause and so a semi-automatic, okay, so a full automatic weapon, if like in my military weapon, if I squeeze the trigger, I could let 3 rounds downrange at one time. You know what I'm saying? And it goes boom, boom, boom. That's how it goes. A semi-automatic is gonna go boom. It's gonna go boom. The moment that I let go of that trigger or pull back the trigger, there's no more rounds. I think it's only 1 or 2. So you gotta constantly like do the trigger motion. With a full automatic, I could just hold that trigger back and that's just gonna spit rounds. But the way this buttstock is designed, and if you pull it up, it's the motion that with the kickback that it goes into your shoulder. There's a recoil that is already part of the trigger mechanism that allows it to, on impact, kind of essentially just for you to use your shoulder and the impact of it to repeat the triggering motion. So what you're doing with the buttstock, you're essentially removing the trigger essentially. And I mean, you still have it, but it kind of almost replaces the trigger. So now
I'm looking at a video of an assault rifle resting on a bipod. He had him in a bipod, and he was shooting.
Yeah.
There's a video of it, but I don't know, man.
That's what we're saying though. Like you know how you talk about like gun control. You don't want gun control and this and that.
There's gonna be probably there's a 99.9% chance of a possible echo from the guns, the bullets, right?
A what?
So gun noise, but some of these videos that were being recorded on these phones, you could hear the pop, 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 pop from up close, right? And then seconds later, while that one was going, you could hear a louder noise. And there's no way that you could generate an echo before the extra noise comes out. Am I right or wrong?
I'm gonna say I think you could do it because we've heard it all. Again, my time in Iraq, we could heard it. We heard the pop shots, and while we thought it was coming from one area, because of the way the buildings are and how it ricochets, and how the wind is moving. Though, we had to actually adjust fire to the opposite side. So, you know what I mean. And there's ways to silence. There's ways to hide a muzzle flash. Snipers do it all the time. But that's the thing, though. We get back to how did he have access to all these type of shits? Because you have access to all these modifications to make.
That's fine, man. But it just goes back to what I'm saying, man. This guy had to be very knowledgeable and enhanced on all this shit, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is not a one-man thing, bro.
Why it could be a one-man thing? You have a gun. You have gun enthusiasts. That's if you're passionate about something, you're gonna learn as much as you can. And one of the things is, let's not go too far. He may have just been knowledgeable in the capabilities of the weapons he had. You know what I'm saying? So, to even call him a gun enthusiast is probably like not fair, because to other gun enthusiasts, he might have just been infatuated with the weapons that he knew, a certain amount of weapons, and then basically kind of learned them the way and to the full. Like I'm only well versed in a 50 caliber machine gun and an M4 and an M16. Because I had to. Those are the three weapons that I had to use. You know what I'm saying? So but that's the thing. That there's ways of doing it. I know everybody wants to have the gun restrictions and shit like that, and that's always a sensitive topic. But the reality is, man, you could get these. Getting a gun is relatively easy, though, and getting these modifications added to a gun are relatively easy. The thing about it is the registration of these weapons. It's not that easy. It's still carbon paper copies. There's no digital record files. Like, I can't go and pull up the history of this man unless I go trace back that gun to that gun shop that he bought it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, there's always that argument. It's like, hey man, I want to be able to have guns and shit. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if you want to have guns and weapons, man, go ahead and register them. Goes back to what Brian was saying earlier, man. Like, he got in the car with and then in the Impala in the neighborhood he lives in. He got tailed by a cop. He got profiled. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get pulled over or nothing, but the cop sure acted like it. But the same thing is like, if you are hiding something, or if you're doing something wrong, you're probably gonna get nervous, though. But if you're using a weapon for what you say, if I buy a gun and say, hey, it's for home protection, or hey, it's just for me as a hobby to go shoot some clay pigeons or go hunting. If I'm using it for that, you know what I'm saying? Why is it difficult to register a gun? It don't cost anymore. So,
does it cost to register yourself?
No, it don't cost, bro. It's already part of the purchase of the weapon.
Yeah, because I think Academy, they do the same thing. I think you got to be escorted. They escort you out with the firearm. They can't give you the firearm inside the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Look, man. Whatever, man.
Until it comes out, I'm not gonna entertain any conspiracy theories.
I was just saying, I only see one picture of this guy, and then pictures of him being old with his eyes closed, and then you got to get a picture of him like 20 years.
Until there's 100% concrete evidence of possible conspiracy, though, I'm not gonna entertain that. I see the effort. I give you a B for effort. You know what I'm saying? But if you put that much effort into half of the things you do in other areas, Brian, you probably will be successful, nigga.
This other question. Have you heard about Bellagio being shot up?
Who?
The Bellagio casino being shot.
No, I ain't heard that, man.
It got shot the same night at the same time the shooting was happening, but no one seems to be talking about that.
Because what do you think, dog? Do you think that do you think that the Bellagio is gonna say, hey, yeah, you think the Bellagio is gonna say, hey, guess what? We also had a shooting. Do you understand that that's not gonna make Nevada seem or Las Vegas seem unsafe to visit?
So what are you saying, Josh? So you get to pick and choose what you want to report? Is that what you're telling me now?
I'm just we don't hear about every murder that's going on.
It's a shooting in one of the top prominent casinos where millions of people.
Right, but that shooting wouldn't but they're but they're not relevant. If they're not relevant to each other, right? But if they're not relevant to each other, then why intermix it?
It doesn't matter because at the same time there was a massive shooting happening in the other.
Right, but if they've already found evidence of saying that, hey, these are not connected at all.
About it, Frank. And we go back to the same thing, dog. You wake up in the morning and then you see that ISIS is taking claim of this, but no one wants to make a connection because no one wants to talk about the Bellagio. Nobody's talking about it.
Mike, those are apples and oranges, dog. You cannot go full circle on that, dog. ISIS is in the business of fucking causing havoc and terror and recruitment. They don't care about the damage that it causes, nigga. They only care about taking credit and to their followers to make it seem like they're actually doing something when in reality they're probably not doing anything.
And that's fine, but my point is that, man, you don't even know that the Bellagio got shot on.
Hey, look, like I said, look, when until evidence comes out of conspiracy, shit, I'll entertain it. But until then, it's all up in the air, though.
That's my point exactly, dog. And look it up, dog. I challenge you to look it up.
No, I'm okay, thank you, man. That's a rabbit hole I choose not to go.
Exactly.
I made the conscientious choice of not pursuing that rabbit hole.
There's a rabbit hole to be pursued in everything, dog.
Oh yeah. I am not shit. Right now I'm in an anime rabbit hole, dog. I've been watching animes for the last month and a half. Dog. My wife is like up. She's clowning on me. She's like you watching your Dragon Ball Z shit again? I'm like, yeah.
Watch Dragon Ball Z?
Nah, not yet. But I'm on anime, bro. I've been watching so many animes. It's ridiculous, though.
Which one?
What do you mean?
Name one.
I've watched like the majority of. Well, I watched like 3 or 4 on Netflix because they have the English versions. I don't like the subtitle ones. I don't have that time, though. I don't have that kind of time, though. So if it's already dubbed out, if it's already dubbed into the English, I'll listen to it. You know what I'm saying? At least. I got a couple, man. I got a couple that I kind of like. Let's see. And then right now I'm on Funimation. I'm watching a couple. I got a couple animes that I watch on there. I got one called. There's one called Fairy Tale. I've watched that one. I watched some of the episodes on that one. I'm watching right now one that's called Gamers on Funimation. That was actually pretty good. I got Attack on Titan. I got that one queued up for whenever I go to Frederick, Maryland for training for 2 weeks. Kind of get lost in that. There's one I just finished watching too. It's called Knights and Magic. That one's pretty cool. It's got your little kid enthusiastic about robots, magic, and castles and shit. So, and there's one that I did watch too. It's called In Another World with my smartphone. Basically this guy dies and God allows him to. Well, he's gonna revive him into another world, just not Earth, and he's gonna allow him to keep his smartphone, and he's gonna help him. And he gives him all the magical abilities possible, and he becomes a hero and stuff. So, but yeah, that like it. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z is queued up, though. Oh, please believe
For
me.
real, though. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna watch that shit.
It's almost some shit.
Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, we're gonna look. Like I said, me and Winston, we're already gonna talk about some other.
I'll take Jamie's side on that shit. You wasting too much time on that bullshit.
Nah, but it's just like me listening to podcasts. I listen to the podcast. That's why I like the English versions, because that way I could just listen to it. I don't have to like necessarily see it. You know what I'm saying? I could have it on my headphones on and understand.
Man, when is that shit coming out, man?
What?
Black Mirror, man, season 3 is gonna come out soon, dog.
Season 3's already out, dog. Season 3's already out, man.
No, it's not. Was it season 4 then?
Yeah, season 4 is the one that people are waiting for.
Oh, yeah, that one. I saw the fucking, I saw the trailer on YouTube.
Oh, they already have one?
Oh, so there's only like 4 episodes.
Yeah, because every season is like 4 or 5 episodes per season, so.
Yeah, man, that shit is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I told Brian to watch that shit, man.
Bueno, dog, but whatever, though. Hey, man, I got an hour and a half of this. Let's wrap it up, man. Hey, just to say, like, who we had. We had my brother Mike on the line. Say bye, Mike. Say peace out to the audience, Michael.
No, I'm not saying peace out. No, I was not part of this, so.
Michael was not part of it. And then I got my other brother, Brian. Brian, I still love him. We're back in talking terms and speaking terms.
Este no sabe la diferencia, though.
But anyway, though, he's
you can't bring that shit up in the air, though.
What's that? Me and you.
Nigga talking to me again.
No, but we're on speaking terms, dog. I'm glad that we are, dog. And you took a big step of doing that. So
they don't care.
Well, I do. That's why I'm giving you credit, bro. I'm giving you props. But anyway, though, hey, it was fun talking to y'all, man. Hopefully we could continue it. And thank you all, man. Everybody has point of views. We argue, we laugh. For the most part, I think we have a good time. I still love y'all too.